Thank you for listening to the show on Really Big Something Channel. November 3rd, 2017.
2:05 here on the great WRKO. Okay, in 30 minutes, I will be making a big announcement to everybody in Kuhner country. I also have a column up on WRKO.com. Please, I urge all of you, go read it. It's my most personal, emotional column. Also, tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m. for 3 hours, I will be on the air live along with Dr. Grace, my wife. We'll be co-hosting a special here on WRKO. I hope all of you can join me. That is tomorrow, Saturday, 9 a.m. until noon. Okay? The House Republicans have now finally released their tax plan. It still has to go through the Senate, so it's not a final package, but we're now getting the outlines, a serious outline of what a deal is going to look like. And the question now is this: is it good for you? If you're a working class, middle class, hardworking taxpayer, is this going to put more money in your pocket or take more money out of your pocket? So, the plan itself is essentially what we've already known. It breaks down the 7 tax brackets from 7 to essentially 4. If you make up to $45,000 a year, you're going to be in the 12% bracket. After that, you're going to be in the 25% bracket. Then if you make over $200,000, it's going to be the 35% bracket. For those that make over $500,000, 39%. If you're a family or a joint couple, the rates will be the same, just the income will be higher. So basically we're looking at 4 brackets. We're looking at 12%, 25%, 35%, 39.6%. The heart of this package, of this tax proposal, is a massive cut in the corporate tax rate to 20%. Trump actually wanted 15. He couldn't get it, but he got 20. Now, before I get to anything else, the 20% rate cut, the corporate rate being cut to 20%, the 20% rate, if it is enacted by Congress, will unleash an economic boom, the likes we would not have seen really since the 1980s. It directly not just will slash taxes for major corporations, allowing them to buy more, reinvest their money, hire more workers. But what it also does is, as part of this deal, is it encourages trillions and trillions of dollars that major corporations have parked on offshore and other countries or in offshore accounts. They can be brought back in. They will pay a one-time tax of 12%, and then the money can be brought back and invested in the United States. So in terms of, for the country as a whole, on a macro level, I think there's no question about it. This will lead to a major economic boom. In fact, the economy, the Trump economy, is really starting to take off. The unemployment rate, as of today, is now the lowest since 2000. The construction industry is booming, like they haven't seen in over 15 years. The U.S. service sector is booming. Mining is booming. So there are now aspects of the economy that are really red hot. Well, this is what happens when you have a businessman who runs America like a business and not a socialist empire. The big question, though, is, for those of us in these high-tax states, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, California, we have been the beneficiaries of essentially the low-tax states essentially subsidizing us. So what we've had in place for a long time is that our high state taxes, state income taxes, sales taxes, local taxes, property taxes, we have been able to use as a huge deduction when it comes to our federal taxes. This tax plan essentially wipes that deduction out with one important exception. It keeps some of those deductions, but only for property taxes capped at $10,000. So, in plain English, if you're in states like Texas, where much of the state and local governments are funded through property taxes and not state taxes or state income taxes or sales taxes, this benefits you a lot. It frankly will benefit many people in New Hampshire. If you live in New Hampshire, this plan, very good for you. Because a lot of the money generated in New Hampshire is through property taxes. So they're going to keep part of that deduction only for property taxes up to $10,000. The big losers are going to be us. You live in Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, and California. We're the big five. The high tax blue, liberal, progressive blue states, we're going to lose that cushion. Now, part of the argument, and I have to say, look, I'm really genuinely split on this issue. Part of the argument is, why should, let's say, low-tax red states, let's give you an example, Texas or Kansas or South Carolina, their argument is, hold on, we don't have state hacks, we're not giving welfare to illegal immigrants, we don't have state representatives running from reporters because they've been stealing money from the travel budget. We don't give our state politicians $22 million raises. So we don't run a corrupt, liberal, big government state that you need to have high taxes, high tolls, and high fees to sustain this. So why should we have to be subsidizing you? Why should we pay for running our affairs properly, keeping our taxes low, keeping corruption down, and restraining the growth and size of government? Why should we have to pay for you guys to basically spend like drunken sailors? So from a moral argument, there's half of my brain that says, well, it really isn't fair. So when I asked Grace this morning how she felt about it, she said, look, our taxes are going to go up. I'm not in a good mood. Trump promised us a tax cut. You and I are very middle class. We worked like dogs to help get Trump elected. We went all out for Trump. And guess what? In the end, our taxes, say however you want to phrase it, our taxes are going to go up. Half of my brain agrees with my wife. I don't want to pay more taxes. I'm taxed to the hilt. I can't pay anymore. Really, I can't. I mean, I'll survive, but really, I'm drowning in taxes. The other half of me, I'll be very candid with you, it's not just the moral argument, why should those in low-tax red states have to subsidize us, but I think it's going to be a catalyst. And here's my prediction. Okay? Today is November 3rd, 2017. I believe by November 3rd, 2018, there is going to be a major tax revolt in Massachusetts. I can't speak for California or New York or New Jersey, but I believe that this state is now just on the edge, just on the tip of a massive middle working class tax revolt. And I am telling you that Jeff Kuhner is going to lead it. And I think the trigger, the spark, what will light the fuse is this tax reform plan. Why do I say this? Because initially there is a lot of anger at Trump. And this is going to go on for months. The Democrats, the libs in this state are going to say, oh, our taxes are going up, blame Trump. Blame the tax plan. Blame Paul Ryan. Blame the Republicans. But once the dust settles and the anger begins to fade, people are going to start asking themselves, where's all my money going? I'm paying all these state income taxes. the sales taxes, the local taxes, the property taxes. I'm paying and paying and paying and paying. Now they want to add tolls. Now they want to charge for residential parking. I could go on and on, okay? Where's my money going? Because now there's no major big deduction to cushion all of this. So now we're going to bear the full brunt of what it means to live in a massive tax and spend state. We're going to know what it is to live under real democratic progressive rule with the bark off. We're going to really feel it. No deductions, no cushions, no gimmicks. Now we're going to know. And I think people are going to start asking, where the hell is my money going? Now, Charlie Baker, a.k.a. Charlie Faker, Chicken Charlie, has come out and said that this tax overhaul hurts Massachusetts families, hurts middle and working class taxpayers, and he's very critical and he's against it. Okay, so now Chicken Charlie is a tough guy against Trump and the tax plan. Let me give you one story. Pay attention because it's all going to make sense in 2 minutes. I want to give a big hat tip to WCVB Channel 5. State on the hook for at least $558 million, million with an M, as workers retire. So the state inspector general has released a letter. I want you to listen to this. The vacation and sick leave policies for all of the state workers, the employees of the state of Massachusetts, have taxpayers, that's you and me, on the hook for at least $558 million in payouts as these employees retire. The average Massachusetts state employee, listen to this, gets 15 sick days a year. But it gets even worse. I only get 2. That's it. I only get 2. They get 15. Most people in the private sector, 2, maybe 3 tops. They get 15. But hold on. If you don't use your sick days, with us it's use it or lose it. That's it. I get 2 and they don't roll over. With these guys, they carry over year after year if they're not used. And so literally 15, let's say you don't use them, just for the sake of argument. Then it's 15, you add it to the other 15, that's 30. That 30 you don't use, then it becomes 45. Then it goes to 60. You see how this works? So apparently, when the workers leave government service, the state, i.e. you and I, pay 20% of the unused sick time based on their current salary. Other high-ranking state employees earn even more. So, according now to all the sick leave and vacation balances they looked at for just 23,000 employees, there's about 100,000 of them. So they just looked at a quarter of them. This is just a quarter. Not the whole thing, just a quarter. 10,427 state employees had sick leave balances of 1,000 hours or more. In plain English, you're going to have to pay them for unused sick leave. How much are you going to pay them when they retire? At least the state liability is $117 million. Another 20,000 employees have at least, they have lavish vacations. Same thing. They roll over. So let's say you don't take your full 4 weeks. You take 2 weeks. Then the 2 weeks roll over to next year. You see how it works? And then you keep doing it. And before you know it, guess what? At least 20,000 employees have at least 187 hours of accrued vacation time. Guess what? You got to pay for that. When they leave, but they didn't use all their vacation time. It's all rolled over. You got to pay. How much will that cost you? $217 million. Just for sick and vacation time. I'm not talking about the actual pension, what you pay them every month. Just for all of the generous sick and vacation time that many of them don't need and don't use because it's so much. It's a scam. It's going to cost the state $558 million. You have to shell that out. We're going bankrupt. We're going bankrupt because you have to pay not only the lavish pension benefits of the hacks, you got to pay their unused sick time, you got to pay their unused vacation time, you got to pay $2 billion a year, every year, for welfare and free health care to illegals. You have to pay for $20 to $22 million a year pay increases to all of the politicians up on Beacon Hill. Plus, many of them get 2 pensions. You got to pay for that. You got to pay for state representatives who falsify the commute logs so they can charge you $12, $15, $16, $20,000 a year in travel expenses when it's proven they're not even commuting to Beacon Hill. They're at home or they're at their second job. That's why you pay through the nose in taxes. You have to really clearly understand this. You get up every day. You're not paying taxes for what you should be paying for. The roads, the military, basic social services, okay? For the truly needy. I'm a Catholic. The truly poor, the truly disabled. No. You're paying for people who are able-bodied and do nothing all day, or they're here in this country illegally, or they're part of a special interest group, hacks, who get all kinds of pension benefits, health benefits, dental benefits, vacation benefits, sick leave benefits that you and I could only dream of, because that's how the Democrats hold on to power. They take our money and then they bribe people with our money. Where's Charlie Baker? Why won't he clean up the state government? How come he doesn't come out and say, even though taxes are going to go up because of the tax overhaul plan, I'm going to cut your taxes. I'm going to cut the state income tax, the sales tax. I'm going to cut all the freaking taxes and clean up the corruption on Beacon Hill. In other words, Charlie, we voted for you to take care of our money. Take care of our money. 226 here on the great WRKO. Okay, you can text us at 680-680. This is from Anthony in Michigan. Jeff, in Michigan, the politicians used to be able to trade their unused vacation and sick time to buy a bigger pension. Is that happening in Massachusetts? No, it's a little bit different. The racket is they pay you a lump sum. So the unused sick time, they say, by the way, it's the unused sick time. That's another. I'd like to check if it really is unused or if it's used and they're just claiming it's unused. That could be another racket, okay? But let's just assume the report is true. No, they just pay you a lump sum. That's what they, or the unused vacation time. They just pay you a lump sum. So they cut you a nice, whatever, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 check. So just vacation and sick time alone, we're on the hook for over $500 million. The taxpayers of Massachusetts. Now, why doesn't Charlie Faker get up there and say, okay, we've got this, we've lost our deduction because of the tax plan. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put money back in the people's pockets. I'm going to cut the state income tax. I'm going to cut the state sales tax. It's time to start cutting taxes in Massachusetts. But what about the revenue shortfall? What about the deficit, Mr. Governor? No problem. We'll go after the hacks. We'll go after the pensions. We'll go after the corruption. We're going to start firing people left, right, and center. We're going to go after the illegals. We're going to go after the sanctuary cities. In other words, I'm going to cut all of the fat and corruption that is costing taxpayers billions and billions and billions of dollars. let's give him a call and tell Charlie Faker to do his job. So the number now, if you want to call Charlie Faker, 617-725-4005. 617-725-4005. And say, instead of complaining about the Trump tax plan, why don't you cut our taxes? Oh, but that'll lead to a deficit. No problem. Cut the spending. Go after the hacks. Sam in Framingham. Go ahead, Sam.
Hello, Jeff.
Hi.
I don't think you understand what's going on, and I like to test freedom of speech on the radio. Our gun rights were lost a year and a half ago, and now our fines and fees and everything is going up, and you're responsible for this. I don't know why you're so surprised at what the legislature is doing. I really don't understand that.
I mean, no, but I know. But Sam,
you are directly responsible for this. And another thing I want to mention: we just had another teacher murdered in Massachusetts. Is there a reason you didn't speak about that?
Where is that? Was that in Lynn?
That was Vanessa Marchand, the second teacher. And I want to talk about why you didn't mention that. The reason why you didn't mention that is you don't support capital punishment. You're not really a conservative. You
Actually,
don't
well, no, I
understand
do
what it is
support
to be a
capital
conservative,
punishment.
to support the Second Amendment, and what the legislature is doing to our pocketbook.
Well, I do support the Second Amendment.
No, you do not. That's a lie. You just lied. You do not support them.
How do I not support?
You didn't do anything to stop the legislature from taking our gun rights away. Nothing. And by the way, neither did Representative Jeff Deal. He's not a gun supporter either.
Now, hold on. But what about me? But I'm for the death penalty.
No, you're not. You are certainly not for the death penalty.
How am I not for the death penalty?
You are absolutely, because you don't support gun rights, Jeff. The only states that have the death penalty are pro-gun states, like Texas and down south.
No, I know. I love Texas.
No, you don't. You're lying, Jeff.
How am I lying?
Jeff, you are not a conservative. I'm not sure exactly what you are, but you don't. And another thing, too, you missed talking about the Boston police officer who was escorting a drug dealer through Logan Airport. Why do you support corrupt police officers?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It was in the news, Jeff, or the other police officer who stole evidence and cash and drugs from the police headquarters.
Okay,
Did you miss that?
I'm responsible for that?
The point of my story is, Jeff, you're complaining about all these fees and fines and tolls. You can't stop that now. You caused this problem.
I caused it.
Yes, you did.
Can I ask you something?
And the patriots out there listening in Kuhner country know exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, now, but by the way, Sam, before I let you go, did you see the last batch of the Kennedy assassination files?
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, didn't you see my name in there?
So, in other words, everything I'm saying is not true, correct?
No, I killed Kennedy. Don't you know that?
And you're trying to lead us to believe that you support the Second Amendment when our gun rights are now gone.
What do you want me to do? Lead an armed insurrection?
Actually, it's already done. What I'm curious about is why is it you have no guests on your show to talk about gun rights? Even Howie Carr does that.
We do all the time, Sam.
There.
Shut up, Sam.
Well, actually, Sam, that's not true. We have many people on that support gun rights, and we talk about gun rights. But that's okay. I mean, look, you have to understand something. I was the guy that killed JFK. Have you noticed everything is my fault?
Hey, Sam, when you go back into the chief's office, tell her we like her blazer today.
No, I know. I mean, what is this guy, a mole for Elizabeth Warren? So let me get this straight. I'm responsible for all the problems in the state? Like, it's incredible. But no, listen, the Kennedy, don't tell anybody, but the Kennedy assassination, that was me. 2:37 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends, as I've been saying all week, a very, very big announcement here on the Kuhner Report. I would have said it much earlier, but out of respect for the family's wishes, I have remained quiet. You can go to WRKO.com and read my latest column. It's called My Buddy Bill. This Tuesday, I lost a very dear friend. Bill Kelly passed away of a massive heart attack. He is survived by his wonderful wife, Kelly Kelly, his 20-year-old daughter, Mary Madeline, and his 11-year-old boy, William Jr. Bill Kelly was more than just a sponsor of this show. He had my back. He was an incredibly close and dear friend. He loved this show. He loved everything it stood for: God, country, family. He was the kind of man that you rarely meet in your life. If you meet a man like him once, you're an incredibly fortunate person. And the loss that we suffered is an irretrievable loss. And I want you to know that my family has been in mourning. I have been in mourning. And so to honor Bill, tomorrow at 9 a.m. till noon, we will have a special live call-in show. I will be hosting it here on WRKO along with my wife, Dr. Grace. And Bill used to always come on the show roughly at about this time, 2:35-ish on Friday. Instead is going to be his wife, Kelly. And so joining me now is the president and CEO of Kelly Financial Services, Bill Kelly's wife, Kelly. Kelly,
hi.
Welcome
Hi,
to the
Jeff.
Kuhner Report. And again, my deepest condolences.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate you and Kuhner Country for respecting my wishes and not making an announcement prior to this day. I really appreciated it very much.
Kelly, I'm just curious. We had some. It was a very solemn moment, obviously, when Bill passed away, and we had the funeral, we had the wake, and I just want to commend you. I really have to say this to everybody. It was an immaculate funeral. It was perfect. It was beautiful. It would have made Bill proud. I thought the eulogy that John Boudris delivered was absolutely, it was one of the most beautiful eulogies I've ever heard in my life. The letter that little William read in honor of his father, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And I just want to say, Kelly, you've really conducted yourself with tremendous grace, class, and strength. And I know
Thank
that
you.
Bill is definitely looking down from heaven, and he is smiling as he always did from ear to ear, and I know that his heart is brimming with pride.
I still feel his presence, and he is giving me the strength along with God. And I have to say, Jeff, you and Dr. Grace have been my rock. I mean, through everything. You know, Bill, he's been prepping us for this for years, and I thought he would outlive me. But he has been preparing myself, our children. He's always been so tough on us, and our Kelly Financial team. So when it did happen, I knew exactly what to do. I knew who to go to. I knew, and our team conducted. I mean, they were just like Bill. You know, I could tell he's been with them for a while. So everything was seamless, smooth, and I mean, it is so sad, but so beautiful. And he will always be with us, and we will always, you know, I know I'll find myself always trying to please him. I still do. I hide the mayonnaise. He hated mayonnaise.
Oh, I didn't know that. Bill hated mayonnaise? I didn't know about that.
And I mean, even a couple of days ago, William was eating this Italian pastry, and he had more than one, and he looks up and says, "Sorry, Dad."
Well, you know, I got to tell you that, you know, there's so many stories I could say about Bill. He was just a larger-than-life guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, Kelly, I'm just curious. Tell everybody the story about there was a Spanish guy or a Spanish family or whatever that was like blasting Spanish music. And Bill was so annoyed. What did Bill do?
Oh, my goodness. This was, I don't know, most people knew that William was attending a Dominican school, a British school, for 5th grade, and it went so well we decided to return for the 6th grade. Well, our next door neighbor, it was the older children, not the parents who owned the villa, but they would come about, I would say, every 3 months. And they would party all night long. I mean, until 6 a.m. And I would call security. No one spoke English, And Bill, if he was not there, because as you know, he would come back and forth, he would say, do not do anything. There may be drugs, there may be, definitely alcohol. And so we would just have to endure this, noise all night long. And so he kept telling me, he said, something's going to happen here. And so he brings these powerful speakers to the Dominican. And the last time they did it, he blasted them with cat scratch fever. It was the funniest. They called security on us.
Are you serious? They ended up calling security on you?
They called security on us. And Bill opened the door and he said, I will stop when they stop. And we've never had a problem again. But I mean, the entire villa was shaking, and of course they didn't like that song. But it was never boring with that man, ever.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, Kelly, he was, as you know, a very dear friend of mine. He was like a brother to me.
Oh,
I could always rely on him for advice. He always had my back. He always had the show's back. He knew the enemies that we had, and he didn't care. And I know, Kelly, that you want to make an announcement to everybody in Kuhner country. Bill was obviously a big sponsor of this show. And, well, you just take it away. I want you to announce it to everybody.
I will. And, Jeff, you and Kuhner country have always had our back as well. And, I mean, there has never been a doubt in my mind. Of course, we will continue our sponsorship. 1,000%. I mean, we just go together. Bill would want that, and we have discussed it before. So, of course, we will continue our sponsorship, and we will continue our 3-hour show, and we will continue, with you as a guest on our show and Ambassador Flynn, and we will continue to talk about topics that were important to Bill and our family. We will have our advisors on giving market updates. It will be, the same show. We have thousands and thousands of hours of Bill, giving a lot of advice. So I plan to continue this show.
Oh, Kelly, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I know that, Bill was always about the show must go on, right? That was Bill.
Absolutely.
No matter
Everything
what.
must
So
go on.
in his honor, we're going to continue with this tradition, the Thanksgiving Christmas summit that we used to always hold. It's
yes.
2 days after Thanksgiving.
Like our ninth one. Yes.
And so it's going to be, Kelly, it's going to be this year, November 25th, Saturday, at the Burlington Marriott. It starts at 11 a.m. I'm going to be speaking. I know other people will be there. Is this open to everybody in Kuhner country if they want to come?
Of course it is. We'll have 2 segments. We'll have the Kelly Financial in the beginning for 11 o'clock. And then we found that having a second seating in addition for 1 o'clock is quite helpful because we can seat more people. So, depending on what they want to get out of this, there'll be 2 options. But we'll have the Patriot cheerleaders and some baseball players and Santa Claus, and I have a feeling this one is going to maybe the biggest of all, and they're always huge. I mean, we've had like 700 people. You know that. Oh,
I know. No, it's always a huge event. It's really a lot of fun. So to everybody in Kuhner country, you can get your tickets now. I will be speaking. You can bring the Bambinos, bring the kids. Santa Claus will be there. You can speak to retirement financial experts to help you with your retirement. But we're also just there. You'll have a wonderful meal, and we'll have a lot of fun. Really just a lot of fun. You can call now, 888-800-1881, 888-800-1881. It's going to be on Saturday, really 2 days after Thanksgiving, November 25th at the Burlington Marriott. Kelly, it's very strange to refer to you as the CEO and president of Kelly Financial Services, but as Bill would say, the show must go on.
You bet. It will go on with him leading us.
Kelly, I want to thank you for your support, but more importantly, just for everything that you and Bill have done.
Oh.
And honestly, Kelly, really for your grace, your class, your dignity, your strength in all of this. And I want you to know that I know Bill is very proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I value you and Dr. Grace very much. You know that. You're like family to us. And I cannot, there aren't even the words, I don't even have the words to, you guys are just family, you know? It goes beyond that, even beyond that. So I want to thank you. And it's been a tough couple of weeks, and
we'll get through.
Yeah,
Bill would want us to get through.
But I do want to say, I'm going to end this. I do not hold you responsible for the death of my husband.
Well, they're blaming me for everything now. What the hell, Kelly? I was the one that gave him the heart attack.
Oh, my gosh. I do not blame you for the heart attack.
I mean, you see the kind of abuse I take from some of my listeners? Huh? I mean, I told you, next they're going to be blaming me for the Kennedy assassination.
Poor thing.
Kelly, God bless you. Hang tough, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Absolutely. Tomorrow, actually.
Take care, Kelly.
You too, Jeff.
All right, cheers.
And Kuhner Company.
617-266-6868. Okay, my friends, my final parting thoughts next. 2:53 here on the great WRKO. Okay, my friends, so tomorrow there will be a special show, Bill Kelly in memoriam. We're going to have a public memorial to Bill Kelly starting at 9 a.m. until noon. It will be a live call-in show. I will be hosting it along with Dr. Grace. She'll be my co-host. I hope all of you can join me. I have a very personal, emotional column up on WRKO.com. It's called My Buddy Bill. Really a testimonial to what Bill Kelly meant to me, to this show, and really I think to Boston and Massachusetts. And so you can read it on WRKO.com. Please, I urge all of you, if you can, pass it around. The image that will always stay in my mind about Bill Kelly is I will never forget February 2016. We were up in New Hampshire. It was the night before the New Hampshire primary. Ted Cruz had won in Iowa. And if Trump did not have a very strong showing in New Hampshire, the talk was that his campaign would peter out. The South was at the time thought to be Ted Cruz's stronghold, and that essentially the Trump phenomenon would die out. And so we went up to Trump's last rally. He was then candidate Trump. It was in the convention center in Manchester, New Hampshire. It was a blizzard. It was a snowstorm. The wind was howling. It was cold. The driving conditions were absolutely treacherous. And I remember Bill was with me. He had helped sponsor that event. That's the kind of guy he was. He sponsored an event we did for Ted Cruz about a week before, and then he sponsored this event for Donald Trump. And there he was in his trench coat, with his tie and his suit, his hair blowing in the wind. And we attended that rally. And it was packed. It was absolutely packed. And President Trump walked up, met me. I knew him. We spoke, shook hands. I introduced him to Bill Kelly. And Bill Kelly told Trump right to his face. He said, "Mr. Trump, if you run on the people's agenda, if you champion the cause of the forgotten American, you will win in November. And Trump was like, whoa. And he was like, thank you for that. And Bill never forgot the forgotten American, the forgotten man. And when we walked out of the convention center, Bill Kelly turned to me and said, Trump is going to win. He's going to win the primary. He's going to win New Hampshire. He's going to win the Republican primary, and he's going to beat Hillary in November. And he said, because if you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of people driving in a snowstorm in the ice and sleet to come to New Hampshire for a rally, you're not talking about a political candidate. You're talking about a movement. Bill Kelly never forgot where he came from. He came from humble roots. He was a proud Irish American who was born and raised on a farm. And he embodied the American dream. He pulled himself up by the bootstraps, and he succeeded. He went bankrupt several times, but he eventually succeeded and created a thriving business. People don't know this about Bill. He's also a member of the military. He served in the National Guard, and he served in the Air Force. With Bill, it was love of country, God, and his family. If you want to sum up Bill's life, it was work, country, family. He loved his little boy, he loved his little girl, and he loved his wife. They were everything to him. And he loved all of you. He loved this audience. And I really want you to know this, because you need to know this. As a conservative populist, I am surrounded by enemies in this state. The liberals are out to get me. The rhinos are out to get me. But no matter what, no matter how ferocious the opposition was, there was always one man I could count on, Bill Kelly. And so I mourn. I mourn the passing of a family man, of a staunch patriot, of a devout Irish Catholic, of a successful businessman, but above all, my friend, Bill Kelly. Rest in peace.
The voice of Boston is you. 680 WRKO Boston, 93.7 WEEI HD2 Lawrence, Boston. It's 3 o'clock.